Welcome to Stories of Prophecy. Today is the third episode in our series, The War of the Seeds. Thank you for joining us on this eye opening journey through the scriptures of truth. Stories of Prophecy, Episode 3, Giant Sinners. Adam, where is our son? Eve might have asked. She was worried. It was not like Abel to just disappear. Cain had not seen him either, or so they thought. No one seemed to know where Abel was, but God knew. Cain was keeping a very terrible secret. Now God decided it was time to pay Cain a visit. Cain, where is your brother? God asked. How should I know? Cain answered. I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? It seems Cain had forgotten that God was omniscient and knew everything, but God knew what he had done. He had killed his little brother. God was waiting for Cain to confess and repent so he could forgive him, but Cain still refused to admit what he had done. Finally, God let Cain know that he knew what he had done. God did not allow Cain to die then, but he placed a curse on Cain. He would be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. God was giving Cain time to repent and to say he was sorry, but Cain never did. Instead, he became even more evil and rebellious, and his children and grandchildren and great grandchildren were just like him. They did more and more evil and rebelled more and more against God. It was bitter news to Adam and Eve to learn that Abel was dead and that it was Cain who had killed him. The whole family was very sad. Adam blamed himself. If he had not sinned, none of this evil would be happening. He cried and cried and cried. Eve cried. Abel was gone, lying in his grave, but his parents found some comfort in knowing that Abel's breath was with God and that one day he would be raised to life again. Their home now felt empty without a son. They had daughters, but a daughter could not be the seed of the woman. Cain had run away, and Abel was no more. But God would not leave them mourning forever. Soon Eve would have another son whom she named Seth. Seth looked a lot like Adam, and he was just like Abel, kind and obedient. Meanwhile, Satan was again worried. He tried and tried and tried to get Seth to turn against God, but nothing worked. Yes, Seth did fall into sin, but he always confessed and repented and became stronger and stronger in God. Satan saw that he would never conquer Seth, so he decided he would use Cain's family to cause Seth's family to sin against God. Cain's family did not disappoint Satan. They stole, they killed, they committed adultery, they wore makeup and jewelry, which God called false gods, and they worshipped idols like the sun, moon, and stars. Meanwhile, Seth's family stayed far away from Cain's family. They did not want to see their sin every day, and then start copying them. For God said, by beholding, you become changed. Seth's family were so faithful to God that they were called the sons of God. But Cain's people were called the sons of man because they were controlled by fleshly lusts like greed, selfishness, unkindness, and drunkenness. It was very important that the family of Seth did not marry anyone from the family of Cain, because if they did, they would become corrupt and turn away from God. Satan knew this, and he did his very best to tempt the family of Seth to marry persons from the family of Cain. So Satan went for his secret weapon. That weapon was beautiful women. He whispered into the ears of the daughters of Cain, who were also called the daughters of men. He told them, wear short, tight clothes, put on makeup, and attract the attention of the men of God. Soon, these daughters of men, who were the daughters of Cain, began to go into the camp of the sons of God, who were the sons of Seth. The men became enticed. Their eyes looked on the half naked women, and soon they started to marry them. They had disobeyed God and did not stay away from the family of Cain. Then they had children with them. These children were huge giants because back then men were very tall, nearly as tall as Adam, and Adam was taller than a one-story building. These giant people were wicked and rebellious. They hated God and loved sin and Satan. Now it was God who had the terrible headache. Satan was thrilled as he walked up and down on the earth. He saw that men were doing only wicked things, and he was excited. He seemed to be winning. The whole world, it seems, were his seed. Can you see Satan raising his fist against God and saying, crush my head? I will crush your head. The whole earth loves me. These are my people. This is my world. And it was true. God's eye ran to and fro in the earth, searching it. It was filled with crime and murder and theft. All day, men, women, and children only thought about doing evil. God's heart was breaking. Man was destroying each other and the beautiful world he had created for them. God's pain was so great that he wished he had never made man. He needed to do something big. So finally, God decided that there was only one answer. He did not want to do it because he is not happy when wicked people die, but he had no choice. He would have to kill all the people and animals that were on the earth. It was a very sad day in heaven. Satan, the great foe, seemed to have won. It seemed all men were now obeying him and worshiping him. All men had chosen to be the seed of Satan. But this was not so. God saw hope in one man who had chosen to remain loyal to him. In our next episode, we will learn about that one man who was not serving Satan. In him God still had a seed of the woman. Before our next episode, read Genesis 6, verse 5, and learn about the terrible thing that broke God's heart. And as usual, go to your dictionary and find the meaning of these 4 words: bodyguard, fugitive, vagabond, loss. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe and share the link with your friends and neighbors so that they too can learn of the wonderful prophecies in the Bible and of the love of God. God bless you and see you next time for episode 4. Leave your comments or questions in the comment section below. Stories of Prophecy, The War of the Seeds, written and narrated by Kadia P. See contact details in the description box below.